Okay, we're up and racing. Morning all. How are you, Nathan? Good to see you, mate. I hope all is going well. As you can see on the screen, Bobby, g'day, mate. You can see the US again is on a tear. It's just popped about 100 points in the last hour or so. So, yeah, I would not believe if anyone told me this market's not been pumped. It's been ramped for sure. Outside of ours, it's just continuing to find strength. Even yesterday, I mean, there was selling coming in yesterday. I was short here and realized I was probably going to be on the wrong side. Or was it? No, it was just in here. And then it was getting supported right through. So I ended up getting long somewhere in here. And lo and behold, I called it a day just before this ramp, which is very bad luck. So I was getting long, getting short, a few wins and a few losses, and then I was long a couple of times into around 6 p.m. And I think it was around then, just after Europe opened, Europe started breaking higher, which was unexpected, and yeah, the market just took off. So I think the DAX was looking to open up around 350 or so, 3 to 300, 300 to 350 on the DAX because it missed out the day before because it's closed, and that's ended up over 3%, over 400 points. So massive rally there. It's just game on everywhere. I think the only place to put yield, to find yield, is in shares at the moment. You know, banks are more liquidity. Was it M2 money supply has gone up, so money goes to companies. Companies, increase debt in search of yield, and that's where the stock market's just heading up at the moment. So no stopping it. No stopping it. It's absolutely flying. Just let me know if you can hear me all cool. Go, Jason. Because I'm coming through loud and clear. Today, just going to go over, obviously, the Dow. I'm going to go over the XJO, which is the ASX200 and the Aussie market index. The Hang Seng, we're going to take a look at the US yen and the Aussie. I just think it's interesting to take a bit of a look at those. US dollar is still heading south. Anyone that gets the morning jumpstart, the morning report, there's a good link in there worth looking at. G'day, Jai, is it? G'day, how are you? There's a good link in there to read about, I don't know who sent it out. I was reading it this morning and put it in the morning jumpstart about the US dollar and, generally inflation's supports the dollar, but may not this time. Excuse me, maybe a bit of a sell-off in the dollar. I mean, it seems to be coming under pressure. There's that many dollars, supply demand, a lot of dollars floating around. Sooner or later, the higher the debt levels go, anyone supporting the dollar to buy into other countries are going to want higher yields. And if you can't ramp up your interest rates, where are you going to get the yield from? So they may not provide support, which means a lower dollar, even though inflation could be kicking off just because of the debt levels are just skyrocketing. Also going to take a look at the Aussie, like I said, US yen, Aussie, and oil and gold. So we'll kick it off here with the mini. This is the Dow. You can see it's up at previous highs, which is around, it's basically here now. So it'll be interesting to see if it can kick on. I was hoping it would back off a bit. I was looking at this zone just when I was putting together these levels. It was trading around 25, say 700. It's just ticked over 800. So just a rally, just over 100 points, thereabouts, which is a good little spike high. It's just been ramped up into the previous highs. And don't forget, this could be ramped coming into payrolls, US employment data. Was it Friday night? And there's some data out tonight too, I think, which is not Thursday night or Wednesday. Never quite remember. Some unemployment figures out, or employment figures out tonight or tomorrow night. Only minor ones. It's relatively new compared to the payroll data on Fridays, which is the first Friday of every month. But it seems that negativity there gets brushed aside. So even if, and I think it's purely because of stimulus, the more stimulus goes in there, it just seems to be harder than ramping the prices into equities. Again, where do you put your money? Bond yields are low and they're staying low. They're not going anywhere, which is not a great sign. Equities okay, maybe weaker dollar. You don't really want to buy the dollar. Currencies, Aussie dollar's rocketing higher. So yeah, it's just a bit of a free-for-all in the equity market at the moment. As the Dow, so it's been held up at 25,506. Not really. That's the anchor. That's a fair way away at the moment. We're looking about 300, 400 points away at the moment. Sorry, 300 points away. Would expect some heat to come out up here, maybe a bit of profit taking. because it's a big effort. I mean, you might flush through and then find we get a lower high, but either way, trading short now is highly risky at the moment considering the environment, and it's too stretched for my liking on the 30-minute chart even to get anywhere near it. Okay, so we've got XJO next. That we were talking about these levels. I think it was somewhere around here yesterday. Seeing if it can pop up through 58.20 or thereabouts. What was the day? Day started. Yep. So it did do that on the open. Ramped up a bit, pulled back, built a high low at 5,800, and it's pressed higher into the close, which again was a bit not unusual but unexpected. There wasn't that much strength into the market then, but I think you could see the strength coming into the European session. Any sort of flush low was getting soaked up, and you could see the numbers ticking over. So any sort of sell-off was getting soaked up quite heavily at higher levels. So any sort of negativity that was coming into the market or trying to come into the market, maybe thinking that Europe's a bit overbought at the moment. DAX is going to open up, maybe some profit taking on the DAX. Anything that was flushed lower, it was instantly stopped. So that's probably what our market was looking at into the close and just ramped up into the close. US up to overnight would lead to higher price you would expect. So for all purposes, I think it's heading to 59.20 at the moment. It's not in a big, it's not a highly momentum market at the moment. You can see we had some good momentum here. We've backed off. We found support at 57.15, and the momentum up's been a bit of a grind. And it's kind of like no one trusts it at this stage. And around this zone here, it's 50% of, if I can get it, of this move down, give or take. From that high to that low, we're about the 50% fib retracement level. So that's probably going to cause a bit of concern. Do you want to continue to go risk on or not? I mean, at the moment, it's the only place to be. Hang Seng, levels at the moment, that opens at 11.15. Levels for me are 24.280, which is that high spike. And then we've got a bit of selling that's coming around 24.175, which may cap it at the moment, but we'll see. Not with the Dow, just spiking high. You would expect probably on the CFD prices already gone through that zone. Potentially see if we can get capped at 24.280. I mean, there's a good chance that it spikes through and we drift lower, like yesterday on the open, spiked through previous highs and then just did nothing up until 2 o'clock, opened at 3, and then we got the action coming into the European session. Where was that? That was here. Here you can see the spike through this high, did nothing until 2 o'clock. Was it 2? Yep, that bar, and then we started to lift after, once 3 o'clock it opened again and started trading. So again, we may, we're probably going to be spiking into this zone. We'll just see if it continues on, then so be it. I mean, it's going to be a good ramp in the first half of their session. We'll see if we can get a bit of a pullback to buy into. Otherwise, these are the zones. I think this 24.085 is going to hold at the moment. It's looking like it's going to hold with the Dow up where it is, and 23.967 also. Minor support zones. This is a minor one at 24.085. This is more the key anchor level to the uptrend. And just, the highs, we're going to see if there's some profit taken at the highs or not. See if we flush it out and then drift lower. Okay, US yen. We have, a big spike, which has just gone through this zone here. You can see it was at 108.02 or 108 even. Spiked through there, and that's more of a collapse in the US dollar. I'm sorry, a collapse in the yen than any sort of rally in the US dollar. US dollar is heading south this whole time, and it has been pretty much right through here. And then you could find that just sooner or later, any safe haven yen buying it's out the window. I mean, if you get equities continually to ramp, gold's not going anywhere. No safe haven gold. US dollar as a safe haven is not going anywhere. It's going down. There's no reason to really. I mean, why would you be holding yen as the only safe haven? So that's, I found you find all the currency crosses with yen. So Aussie yen, Euro yen, all that sort of stuff was sold. It rallied just as hard. So you see a spike up. We've got a little minor anchor level here at 108.585. It looks destined for 109.25 or 257. We've got the resistance zone here, which is some highs from may or may not come up. Previously back in, what was it, early April. So it looks like it's going to, really spike hard up into that zone, and then we'll see what happens. Maybe there's a bit of a sell-off. There's a shoulder trade we can jump into on the short side, a lower high. Otherwise, these are the anchor levels holding up. That, to me, too much of a spike. I want some sort of consolidation around here, or maybe a bit of a flush low. I'd rather some of these, to get long, maybe working off one of these lower levels here, a bit of a pullback, just flushing out some of this movement up putting them back on the sidelines. Otherwise, it just looks way too extended, and the momentum may fade quite quickly. Aussie is just on a tear, absolute tear. Still heading higher now, so it looks like it's all guns blazing, buying, and we're getting to that stage where the market's getting a bit out of hand, which could mean it could be leading to a bit of a sell-off. You don't know. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people caught off guard, I would expect, with the way the market's going. I mean, the harder it goes higher, it seems to be a bit of a blowout. Maybe, maybe not. It's going to come a point where why would you bother buying up here? I mean, with such an extended market, that Aussie's been extended for a while. Look at the momentum. Momentum's flicking around as we hold higher levels. A bit of a pullback, a sudden shock lower, hold, spike, consolidate, spike. So at the moment, I did have this level marked up at 67.80, but you probably got an inside level here at around 68.78, 68.80. It's still heading higher. If we just drop it back a bit, see where we're going to. We're looking for this daily zone up around 70.50, which could be done in a day or so. It looks like it's really going to go there. Spike hards, but either way, extended on the daily, it's just lacking. The momentum hasn't slowing down at the moment. Over to crude. Crude again charging higher. I mean, why wouldn't you? You've got OPEC happy to extend cuts. Russia's come to the party. Happy to extend cuts to support price, and it's reflected in price by just charging higher. And especially when you look like you're coming out of expectations that you're coming out of lockdown. Economy is going back to, apart from massive job losses and massive levels of debt, back to normal. So I don't believe that there's not going to be a pullback. There has to be some heat coming out of the market, but until then, we're just trying to pick a top, and there's no signal whatsoever that we're going to go into a bit of a pullback. So at the moment, it's buy the dips with really tight stops. The tighter the better, because the higher it gets stretched, the tighter you want your stops. And it is, don't forget, it is extended. I find it really hard to be buying at these kind of levels. I want some sort of flush lower, reset, and then buy off a key high low, something like this. Flush lower, doesn't break any levels. You get some inside levels that get supported, and then you're buying with a break up, and continuation sort of a trade. Last one we get onto is gold. Gold here, and that looks like it's heading south. We've been talking about this 1740 level, 1750 being these previous highs. Market flushed up, reacted savagely back down. It got supported, and then it found a lower high, which led to these lower prices. A big flush lower down to 1690. And at the moment, we tried to grind the way up, and we started struggling around 1740, give or take, above and below. It did get up to these highs at 1744, and then failed overnight. And that's your traditional safe haven buyers potentially just had enough. Because why would you keep trying to fight? Gold just struggling to go higher, and it was going, with a weaker dollar, it was getting supported. But this is a bit of a change in the trend. The weaker dollar overnight didn't support it, and we got this sell-off. So it looks like it's prepping to head south. So potentially a short through 1723 with stops just above, and see if we can get that extension lower, potentially back down to sort of that 1700 zone. But we'll see. So that's about it. Those sort of the markets I've got my eye on at the moment. I mean, anything else is a tough gig because equity markets are extended, well and truly extended. And I think when a pullback comes, you won't see it. It'll just bang lower. The higher it goes without any pullback, I think the more savage the move down could be. But at the moment, it's the same sort of process day in, day out. Market gets ramped now. The US is getting ramped. See where it is. Getting ramped up, still up there. Out of hours, comes in, maybe consolidates, maybe backs off slightly, and then same thing the next day. All right, let's just quickly look where ASX is. So ASX, we just saw the SPYs just popped up through that 58, 68 resistance, just flushing out some of these stops, short sellers, flush them out, put them back on the sidelines, triggering stops. We'll just see if we can get a bit of a pullback to buy into. I mean, if this just charges high to 59.25, so be it. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Best of luck. Feel free to give me send an email to support@tradesetup.com.au. For anyone on TradingView, remember to look at our profile for all relevant details. And on any one of the posts we've done, there's a lot of other details on YouTube channels and bits and pieces on there. So feel free to join and subscribe. Much appreciated. And leave us a like. All right, guys, enjoy your day. Speak to you soon.